Cheers. You are now watching Create a Steady Hustle with Liquid Cash.
For years, I refused on buying a house or even signing a lease at an apartment because I was scared of commitment. And most niggas in the streets are scared of commitment and they won't admit it. You dig? That's why we float through life, moving and grooving, don't know what's gonna happen next. And it's exciting being in that environment and thinking that way. You're not knowing what you're doing because 2020 is hindsight. You don't know that you actually hurting yourself instead of really helping yourself, you dig? But that was just the mentality at that particular time in my life, in that stage in my life, you dig? And a lot of us are going through that right now. Not because I've evolved and got to a place in my mind where I'm not afraid no more to commit to certain things. That doesn't mean that the rest of the world are not experiencing what I've experienced at a young age, you dig? Just that fear of committing to something. I was so afraid to commit, even when it came to women and it came to relationships. I wasn't, you know what I mean? I wasn't really the one that's quick to jump into a relationship because the lack of information, the fear of the unknown, the fear of what this person is going to do. See, I was suffering for years from unconscious incompetence, and I didn't know what I didn't know. You dig? Just like the streets don't teach you how to leverage debt, which is one of the reasons why I was afraid to sign a lease and get into a mortgage situation or anything of that nature. The streets don't teach you how to commit in a relationship and stay loyal to that person that you decide to be with. The streets is not going to teach you that. You dig? The streets is not going to teach you how to stay down for somebody that you supposedly like or you care about. And a lot of times, coming up for me, it was all lust. It wasn't really something that I really felt like deeply about when it comes to getting in a relationship. It was just straight lust. As most of us are caught up in when we young. We caught up in lust. You dig? You think you know what love is, but you really don't. You just have a false imagination of what you think it is. But everybody got their own perception of what they think love is. But I was lost in the sauce, you dig? And I was caught up in lust. The only thing that I was ever committed to in my life was being committed to my own selfish needs, you dig? Committed to, like I said, being committed to my need for lust, committed to my need for acceptance, committed to my need for admiration,